Okay, I might have just spent the last 10 minutes trying to chase a fly out of the house. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful, so if you hear that buzzing sound, I am sorry. I really did try. Hey everyone, it's Jodie and welcome to today's video. It is already November, which means there's only 2 months left of the year, and I set myself a reading goal of 40 books this year. I know it might not sound like a lot compared to a lot of other people who are avid readers out there, but for someone who only started reading like a year ago, I feel like that was an achievable goal. And so far, according to my Goodreads, I've read 32 books, so I only need 8 more to reach my reading goal. So that's where today's video comes in. We are going to talk about the 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year. I need to put this pile down because it is heavy. With these 10 books, they're kind of what I really want to read before the end of the year. It's a good way for me to share with you guys, as well as keep myself accountable. And also, I don't really do a monthly TBR because I work full-time. So every time I am looking to select a new book to read, I'm kind of like staring on the bookshelf and be like, what should I do? So hopefully having these 10 books here makes it a lot easier for me. So let's jump straight into them. Now, these are in no particular order at all, but the first one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Now, this has kind of been around for a long time, and I feel like everyone and a mother has read this book, so I really want to see what it's all about. The premise is about this girl named Addie who kind of made a deal with a devil to get out of something. In exchange, she has lost her identity. Anyone that crosses path with her kind of forgets who she is. So she can't make an impression on anyone, and she has to start fresh with every interaction, which can be quite tiring, until one day she meets a boy who actually remembers her. For Addie, that's a big thing because no one's ever remembered her before. I've heard that there's some pictures in it and a little description, so I'm super excited to pick this one up. Up next, we have Alchemized by Senlin Yu, which again is probably the most talked about book on the internet currently, and I feel like I'm missing out. I've got a very pretty edition here, like with that sprayed edge. Like, this is a big book, big ass book. It's like over 1,000 pages long. So just looking at it on my shelf is already intimidating me, but I know if I put it on this list, it will hold me accountable and I will get to it. Alchemized is kind of like a dark fantasy, and I know there's some heavy themes in there, so please check trigger warnings before you read if you are sensitive to those things. I'm just so intrigued by the premise of the story. I believe Helena, our protagonist, has kind of lost her memory or have it like manipulated so that she doesn't remember certain parts of her past, which I guess would hold a lot of secrets. They're in a post-war situation where I guess the bad guys have essentially already won. Heard really good things, and big boy, very intimidating, but I am very excited to get onto this one. And while we are on the big fantasy book theme, we've got next The Will of the Many. After holding Alchemized, this book is actually very light. That book is like a brick. I think it's like 1.5 kilos. This book is by James Arlington, and I have seen this all over the internet. Actually, I first heard about this book from Olive's Book Nook. I love her. She is so sweet and just like makes me want to read every single book she talks about. And I think it's a duology or trilogy, but there's definitely another book coming out very soon next year, which is The Strength of a Few, I believe. So I really want to get to this book before the end of this year, so that I can read the next one when it comes out. I think the premise of this book is that the society is built on will, which is like the currency. Everyone has will, but the people at the bottom of the hierarchy has to like siphon or give up their will to the people above them, and then the people, the next rank, gives their will above. So they keep kind of like accumulating will the higher you go in the hierarchy. So the people at the top have like a lot of will, while people at the bottom are like trying to like kind of struggling and giving up all their will for them. One of the orphans is put into a school where he's meant to be at the bottom, but he got put into the school to train some of the high society people and kind of like figure out there's something dodgy going on in the school and there's a murder involved somewhere. I'm not describing this very well, clearly, because I haven't read it, but this is very high up on my TBR. Up next we have Love on the Brain, just to break it up a little bit because I feel like the last three were all pretty heavy. It's so cute, this really beautiful pink cover. This is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. So I've read only one of her other books, which was Love Hypothesis, and I quite enjoyed it. So as a scientist myself, I found a lot of parallels between my reality and Olive's reality in the book, and a lot of the things that she went through, I actually went through myself. So I found that really relatable, and I think Ali Hazelwood does a lot of women in STEM, and I absolutely love that. I believe this book is about physics or space or something, about NASA. So honestly, I don't know much. I prefer to go into romances a little bit blind because I guess you don't need to take that much brain power. No pun intended, love on the brain. But anyway, this is going to be a good palette cleanser for me and kind of just jump back into the world of Ali Hazelwood because I really enjoy her writing style. It's so easy to read. So that's Love on the Brain. Next we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Now this is like the third book in the Part of Your World interconnected series. I have read Part of Your World and also Yours Truly, and I gave both of them 5 stars. They were, oh my god, they have my heart. I forgot that I was reading when I was reading those 2 books. I was just like fully immersed in the story and the characters, and I not related to them, but I was really invested in their story. So absolutely love Abby Jimenez's writing. I think this book is about 2 people who go on dates, but they never find the right person. But then that person that they went on a date with always ends up with their soulmate following the date with them. Does that make sense? When one day, either the girl or the guy, Emma maybe, was posting about it, and then Justin saw, or the other way around, and they're like, hey, yo, that's same situation as me. Why don't we go on a date together so that it cancels each other out, and then the next person we find will be our perfect match. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds a little bit cringy, but like, I love Abby Jimenez, so I have faith in her. And also I've heard that Justin's like the perfect book boyfriend. So this is the 6th book, is Daisy Hates. I know, I read Magnolia Parks, I think last year, so it's been way over a year. When I was compiling this list, I really want to continue on or like finish some other series. So that's what I'm going to do, because I think they're kind of like dual timeline. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they happen at the same time as Magnolia Parks, but this is from Daisy's point of view. Everyone describes it like Gossip Girl, but set in London. These bunch of friends who are super duper rich and wears designer clothes and designer bags and talks about things that are not really relatable to my life, which is exactly why I love it so much. Like all these drama, so much toxicity between the characters, and it's kind of a little bit entertaining in that way. The first book, which is Magnolia and BJ's story, they have this like very toxic relationship. They kind of like have revenge on each other and do things to spite each other, but they love each other, I guess. So the whole premise is something happened at the start, and only at the last page I remember so distinctly that we find out the truth. And I was like, what? I'm guessing we'll find the other point of view through this book. So yeah, I'm super excited to dive into that. Up next we have A Court of Silver Flame. This is the last book in the Akatar series that is out so far. I think Sarah J Maas has put out her draft for the next one, so maybe we're gonna get one next year. So I really want to finish this before the next one comes out. And honestly, I love this world. The found family, the dynamics between them, and the writing is so like atmospheric. You will really fall in love with the characters and kind of, they feel real. Like these people feel like my friends, like I am in their inner circle. So It's crazy what Sarah J Maas can do. I believe we are now following a different set of characters. So obviously I can't tell you guys what this book is about. And I don't need to explain to you what Akata means. Everyone and the mum and the grandmother has read that book. So I just need to, for myself, complete this series before the next book comes out. And oh my God, I cannot wait to be back in this world. But I know my soul and my heart is going to be ripped out with this book again. I have no doubt, and I am ready for it. We are down to our last three. Pen Pal by, I'm not going to try to pronounce this person's name because I know I'm going to butcher it, but there it is. And the reason why I actually had this book on my radar was because of Larry reads. So she gave like a brief synopsis, and I was like scared but intrigued at the same time. I was like, that sounds interesting. I want to read it. I think it's dark romance. Can you call it a romance, or like mafia romance maybe? This will be my very first one, which I'm scared, but I'm also like, you know, interested in. So I'm gonna read the back of this book because honestly, I don't quite know what this book is about. I bought it based on like 3 sentences that I heard. So the first letter arrived the day my husband was buried. It was postmarked from the state prison and it contained a single sentence: "I'll wait forever if I have to." It was designed by Dante, a man I didn't know. Out of simple curiosity, I wrote back to ask him what exactly he was waiting for. His reply: you. Well, since she didn't know the man, right? So she told him that he got the wrong woman, and he said he didn't. I said we've never met, but he said I was wrong. We went back and forth exchanging letters, and it grew increasingly more intimate. Then one day, the letters stopped. When I found out why, it was already too late. Dante was on my doorstep, and nothing on earth could have prepared me for what happened next. Wow. That's all I really need to know. I'm kind of scared, but also very interested to dive into like a completely different genre. I don't have any books with these half-naked men with tattoos on the front cover, which is probably a good thing. I'm hoping I really enjoy it. Now the next book, I was so excited when it first released that I paid international shipping fee to get this special edition from Barnes & Nobles, and it is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Rachel Gillig also wrote like the One Dark Window duology, and that was amazing. Like that world building is so different that I loved it, and that's why I really wanted to try her adult book. I've been told to go into this book completely blind, and that will be the best experience, so that's what I'm doing. I have a good feeling that I am going to really like this one. We've made it to our last book on this 10 before the end, and it is Keeping 13. This is the second book to the Boys of Tobin series. I read Binding 13 maybe like 2 months ago. I think a piece of my heart kind of like broke and went to Shannon and Johnny. I was expecting it. I knew it was going to be very emotionally taxing. I went into it prepared, and my heart still broke for them. This is the second part to their story, and the first one kind of ended on a like really sad note. I don't know if that's going to be a spoiler or not, but I just can't wait to delve into the world again. Look, it is a very big book, but this goes by so quickly. There's something about Chloe Walsh's writing that is like crack to me. I forget that I'm reading, and I'm like going through pages and pages, and it'll be like 1 AM before I check the time, and I'm like, whoa, I need to go to bed. A group of friends who are in school, and they have gone through a lot. They have a very heavy past and present, and they're just kind of navigating through life. To be honest, not a lot really happens, but it's kind of like you're going through life and their traumas with them. It's very much a character-driven book. If you like a very plot-heavy story, then I would say this is not the right series for you, but you just kind of get so invested in the characters that they become part of you. Since I finished Binding 13, I don't think I stopped thinking about Johnny and Shannon. I have them on my bookshelf at the front, and I just like, I really need to get to the next one. And that's why this book is on this list, and I just cannot wait to be back in their world. Although I do need to psych myself up to be emotionally traumatized and damaged, so I'm ready for it. So that's it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments below what 10 books you want to read before the end of the year, or your your favorite books so far this year. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.